Hello pilots, and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are revisiting an aircraft that I have not touched in a very long time. We are going to be trying out Salty's new 3.0 version of his modification for the 747 from Microsoft Flight Simulator. I haven't touched this aircraft in probably 5 or 6 months now, just because the previous time that I tried, unfortunately the aircraft was just in such poor condition. Many of the features didn't work. The aircraft's behavior was extremely erratic. It wasn't a good experience. But today we're going to see if Salty has put something really great together for us and try it out again. Now, as always, you guys will find links down in the description below, but I'm going to go ahead and leave this up on the screen. Feel free to pause if you guys would like and take a read through all of the different changes that have been made to this particular version of the aircraft. I'm not going to be going through them, but I wanted you guys to at least have the option to see some of this up front as you watch this video. The next thing I want you guys to be aware of is, again, as I stated, I have not flown this aircraft in a very long time, so many of the procedures that I use are probably absolutely not accurate. But we're going to do the best I can from memory, get her up and running, see how the aircraft performs, and see if it's something that we want to continue taking a further look at. So right off the bat, we're sitting here at the gate in Los Angeles International, and we're going to be heading over to Honolulu. Thought that'd be kind of a fun flight, something different. You can see the weather's getting a little junky outside, so we're going to see if we can't get her up and running, get out of here before it turns nasty. And it may not. It's just a very low-level fog that we got going on at the moment, but we'll see what happens. We are using live weather today, so we'll get to see how that's performing. I haven't used it in quite a while. Truth be told, I've been a little scared too. But let's get in the process of seeing if I can remember how to set this aircraft up. Alright, so one of the things I do recommend is making sure that when using these aircraft, you make your own custom views. They make a major difference in navigating around the cockpit. A lot of the default views are just really weird, to be honest with you. It's like, which one was it? Like that one. Like, that's one of the default views. Like, what are we looking at here? You know, I don't know. Anyway, just something that I noticed. Okay, so, all right, we got our batteries on. External power is available. We don't need to start the APU yet. Standby power, I think we can just leave that to auto. What do we got here? These are our fuel pumps. I don't think we need those yet. I'm sort of getting my bearings here for a second. Anti-ice. This is override. It's like cross-feed. Yep, fuel panel. Engine start switches. Fuel to remain. Man, okay. Audio system. The yaw dampers. Looks like they're already on. Oh, those are non-functional. Okay. I'm so used to the A320. It's like I should be able to touch everything. But this is still pretty good. This isn't as bad as I remembered. I thought a lot of this function. Well, a lot of this is. Well, there you go. There's a few more engine bleeds. Okay. All right. So let's step on down and see what we can do about getting everything else set up for us today. All right. So one of the major changes that has happened with this version is a bunch of additions to the FMC. Let me see if I can't get the speed or spoiler handle out of the way. There we go. There's been a lot of changes, a lot of additions to it, and we're going to start out with, this is obviously the first screen that pops up, and we're going to start out with the Salty menu so I can sort of walk you guys a few things. Now, I want to stress, this is my first time back in this aircraft in a very long time, so I haven't used any of this functionality yet, and some of it I will not be using today just because I don't have that experience, but I'll tell you what we've got so far. So units up here, you can change between pounds, as you can see here, and kilograms, so you can swap that back and forth very easily. Turn options, ATIS source, again, just like we saw in the A32NX. You can select your pilot edge, same thing for meter source and taft source. Simbrief, same thing, type in your username. one thing that I will give you guys a heads up that I've already noticed, one bug with the FMC is that it constantly remembers the previous entry that you've put into it. And I'll show you guys what I mean. So like when I typed in my Simbrief username, every time I went to clear something on the screen, my Overkill Productions name came up and I had to clear it. It was a pain. So hopefully we won't run into that today, but just wanted you guys to be aware that is an issue. Your IRS alignment. Now this is kind of cool. So you can do an update status here and you can see that it's aligning. You can come over here and hit IRS instant align, and you notice these little boxes came up here on the PFDs indicating that it's aligned. Come here and go to update status, and boom. So our IRS is done aligning, which is always nice. I hate waiting for the alignment. I really do. I'd make a terrible pilot in that aspect. But then again, you have so many other things that you'd be doing in the real world, you probably don't even notice it. Maintenance. A couple different screens here. Airline policies, cost index. I created this entry. 80, this was the one that I did previously. And again, the reason why I restarted was because that 80 kept popping up on the scratch pad every time that I went to type something. So hopefully we don't have to see that again. But I want to stress again, this aircraft has yet to leave the jetway. And then you have all of your thrust reduction altitudes and acceleration altitudes that you can change if you'd like. Let's go ahead and go back. Sensors. You have your outside air temperatures. And there's a couple different pages here. So we come over here, your fuel load and flight phase. Which I'm not quite sure why that shows flight phase 2. Maybe I'm missing something. I'm not sure what cross load does, but every time I click on it, it says check airline policy. So I'm not sure if we go to airline policy. I'm not sure where that would be configured. There's no next page or anything, so I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway, so something just, again, to be aware of that it's there. So now if we go over to data link, we can request the data link. Here is what it looks like, but I don't see anything that ADS. I'm not sure what these are yet, so I'm going to leave those alone. Again, still, this is more of a discovery flight than anything. ATC index doesn't seem to do anything. So anyway, let's go back to the main menu. And let's go into the FMC. Now, like I said, we're flying from Los Angeles to Honolulu. There is a Simbrief integration, but I'm going to show you guys something and why we're not going to use it. Something I discovered previously. Again, I have attempted this. The other thing that I've noticed, like for here on our, let's see, let's update. Looks like the same. When we try to select a GPS line, it's not copying to the scratch pad like it should. Okay, we should be able to come over here, grab one of these lines, copy it, and even if we come over here, yeah, it doesn't seem to matter. If we go to the next page, I think we can grab this one. Nope, even those can't. So we should be able to grab one of those in order to copy it over. So we can't do that yet. And again, this is no shot on anyone. I'm just giving you guys where it's currently at. But we can grab it from here. So we can grab it from the GPS position and drop it in there. Okay. And then reference airport, we're going to go ahead and type it in. Kilo Lima Alpha X-ray. Throw that up into the gate. I'm not going to worry about the gate number. Most of the time it just comes back and tells me it's not in the database anyway. But if we go to our route, this is where this gets interesting. So this request send, this is where it should pull up our flight information. So let's go ahead and do that. And route 1 uplink is ready. So we should be able to hit load. And notice it says not in database. What I've discovered with this after chasing this around for a minute is the air rack cycle that Simbrief is currently using is different, I think, than what is stored in the aircraft at the moment. And so when you see this, it means that one or more of your waypoints or locations are not in the flight database. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to see if we can't change some of that. So let's go ahead and do a test here. We're going to jump back into Simbrief, pull up the old flight plan, and see what we can do to maybe alleviate some of this. All right, so we're logged back into Simbrief here, and we're going to load a saved flight. And it's going to be our last one. And here it is right here. So we're just going to load this guy. All right, and we can keep the pastime. I don't care about that. And what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to change the air rack cycle. So let's come pull up our air rack options. So that's the most recent. I'm going to pull it back a little bit and see if maybe just the previous one will work. Yep. All right. So let's select AirRack options, analyze route. Now what's interesting is it still shows the same route that we had previously. So I don't know. Let me go back. Let's go back a couple. It doesn't look like anything has changed. So we go to AirRack options. 2014 outdated. Yeah, it's all the same still. So this was one of the things that I was sort of curious about. Let's see if we got something here that looks familiar. See, I've flown this route a couple times, and they all come down the same place, and it's actually in the approach where the issue seems to be. So that doesn't seem to make any difference, and because it's not making much of a difference, I'm not going to worry about actually generating it, because everything's still the same, so it looks like we're just SOL for this particular flight. So we'll stick with what we've got, which is totally fine. Now from here, we're just going to configure it like we normally would if we didn't have the Simbrief integration. So I'm just going to come here, and we're going to go to KLAX, and we're going to come down here and do Papa Hotel. What was it? I always forget. Papa Hotel November Lima. And there it is. We're good to go there. So that's nice. Okay. And then, so we have that. Not going to worry about the runway information yet. This is, we're on route 1. So now we're going to go to the route page. Oh, the route page, next page. And, oh, I'm wrong. Sorry. I'm stuck on my A320. We're going to go departures and arrivals. And first we're going to set up our departure. Sorry guys, I'm a little scatterbrained today. And we are looking for the summer 2. There it is. And we're going to be coming off the 2.5 right for today. Go ahead and hit execute. You don't have to hit execute right here, but I like to. It just makes it easy. That way I know everything's entered once I'm happy. We're going to go next page, and we're looking... Oh, I think I passed it. There it is, the Maggie 3. And we're going to be using the ILS 4 Yankee as our approach. And we are going to be using the Alana transition. So we're going to go ahead and hit execute there. Okay, so from here, now we're going to go to our legs page. And verify. Okay, so that's on the approach. So now let's go back to our route for a second. We're going to go to the next page here. All right, so from here, now I'm going to start entering in some more information. So we got the summer 2 to the Dinty. That's our transition. And then from there, we want to go direct to duets. Now here's another issue I saw earlier when I tried to do this. I can't type direct. Okay, not there. It says not in database. But that's what this particular flight plan is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a direct. So when I type duets, which is the waypoint name, it brings up the airway, which it shouldn't be doing because I've asked it to do direct, and I can even type direct. Now, you know what though? I'm wondering if it actually wants direct. Let me try one more thing. Nope, not in database. Okay, so that's something we'll look at the flight plan. As long as it looks okay today, you know, we'll get past that. Anyway, that was just something that caught my attention. Now we do want the Romeo 576 airway. And from here, we're going to be going over to DENS. Delta Echo November, November, Sierra. And drop that one in. Come on. Second index not found. Interesting. So that's the waypoint that it doesn't know. So, oh yeah, that was the waypoint it didn't know. That's right. So from what we're going to have to do here now is just hit activate. And I'm not sure what that's about. I'm not sure why I can't locate it, but that was our issue of why it couldn't automatically import the flight plan. Is it didn't recognize the waypoint. It doesn't know where that waypoint is. So from here, we should be able to still go to the legs page though. Okay. And we should be able to come up top. Let me get the yoke out of the way. And let's bump our range up a bit. Okay. And let's go to map. Come on, one more. Oh, nope, that's plan. Sorry, yep, we want plan. And notice that when we go into plan, we get this step option. We're going to go ahead and highlight it. We're not zoomed out very far. Let's zoom that out. There we go. Let's do 40 miles. There we go. So from here, and we're just looking for, just like we normally do, any discontinuities, breaks in the flight plan, anything that would be an issue to be concerned about. Now, the one thing I don't like is it looks like there's two waypoints stacked on top of each other right there. Romeo 182 and Alana, it looks like. So let's pull that back. Yeah, that's really weird. That's going to be a really sharp turn. So maybe what we can do is from the previous waypoint, maybe we can bypass Alana and just go direct over to Romeo 182. But we'll see. Alana is a transition point, so you know, maybe we'll just fly it manually from there, you know, using heading mode. Anyway, let's keep stepping through. There's our turn, and that was into the approach. Although, that looked a little weird. Well, that's interesting. What is this? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, we're good. So now let's go ahead and continue on with the MCDU configuration. Or FMS configuration, however you want to say it. All right, so we've got our route page complete. So now we're going to go to the performance initialization. And from here, let's see if we can enter in our cost index. Doesn't look like it. So I don't know how many of this is, we're just going to leave as is. Invalid entry. Oh, there we go. Now it gave us information. What the crap, man? All right. So reserves should be 1,000 pounds. All right, good stuff. All right, so it just took a second to load. I can live with that. I can live with that, man. All right, so we got all that information in there. That's nice. I do like the FMC configuration better in the Boeings than I do in the Airbuses. Let's see here. So we got 20% selected, thrust reduction, using N1 climb mode. Okay, so I'm thinking we're going to leave just takeoff to takeoff 1. There we go. Oh, that's climb 1. Okay, no, we'll just leave it as is. All right, takeoff. Flaps. Now, here's the part that I always have to remember. So let me see if I have any of my old notes. So I used to write all this stuff down. Let's see if I can find. All right, here's my notes on it. Takeoff flaps looks like 10 degrees. So let's see here. What is that? Do I just type flap 10? Cool. And I'm assuming everything auto-calculates just as before. 128 knots, 142 knots, 163 knots for V2. Isn't that cool? It's just crazy to see that number when you're used to an Airbus. By that point, we're getting screamed at telling to get the crap off the runway. All right, so it looks like we are set. Let's go ahead and hit execute. We're going to do 163 plus 15 up in the box. Let's see here. So where is it? I already set one of these views up. You just got to give me a minute. Indicated airspeed. So 163 plus 15 was at 178. And again, that just provides a better climb out performance. Oh, come on. We'll set the initial heading when we get to the runway. Initial altitude 10,000 feet. We can leave that as is. Let's see what I got here. Because we're done with the FMC configuration. So from here, we can go there. We can go to map. There it is. All right. Got our speed set here. Altitude set here. We do need our altimeter. So let me get the current METAR for KLAX. See what she's doing today. So if live weather conditions are accurate, actually, you know what? I think we can pull it from the sim. Let me pull this down. look like that's giving it to me. I don't know if that's accurate or not. 101325. We'll pull it from the website. If it's right, it's right. So we'll see. Looks like we're looking at 29er88 today. So let's pull that down. 29er88. You are on Pascal. Oh, I can't change that. Let me change it up here so I can see. Stop it. We'll change it up here so we can see what we got. We should be able to click that. Yep. All right. So 1012. So yeah, it looks like that was right on the weather page. Oh, what happened there? Come here. 1012. That's the best I can give it. 60 feet. 60 feet. Okay, cool. All right. Now I think we're just about set and ready for engine start. So let's see how all that turns out. So I'm glad I came back. I got to think about a couple things. We never set our cruise altitude. I was expecting that to be pulled from Simbrief. So we're going to set that to 340. There we go. And the other thing I never saw that I'm just going to make sure isn't in here is the transition altitude. Which I'm not seeing anywhere. So I'm guessing it's not simulated. I would have thought that would have been in the performance information. So we're just going to scroll through the menus again, make sure I didn't miss it. So that can be in the position information. Might be in the route, but I don't think so. That's just our legs. Oh, doesn't look like it. All right. So no transition altitude. Okay, now I think we're ready to get out of here. All right, so now let's set up our autopilot panel. We want our flight directors on, auto throttles armed, set our heading mode. Oop. Touching things. That's bank limit. We don't want that. Set our heading to the final runway heading of 251 degrees. There we go. VORs are already up in the up position. I think that is all we need. We've already got our V2 set. Barometric pressure set. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I just reset it. That was dumb. Oh, cool. All right. And let's see here. We're going to want our auto brakes over to max for the event of a rejected takeoff. We got to close some doors. Let's go up top and get the APU ready to start. You know what? I didn't check the fuel load. Been bad. So let's see what we got here. So pounds of gas, we need to bring that down. How do you go from that big of a difference? Dude, what the junk? There we go. Close enough. All right. So now the aircraft's fueled. Guess those are on. Okay, they're set to auto. All right. Wanted to make sure. All right. Let's get our beacon light on. We can start the APU. Bus ties are already set. And now we're just waiting for the APU to be available. Let's get the door shut. Let's get the jetway out of here. Cool. Make sure my throttle's at idle. Now it's at idle. That'd have been bad. Back to our legs page. And let's call the tug. Actually, first, let's clear the external power. And let's see, APU bleeds. Thought I saw them earlier. Let's see, bus tie, gen. Thought there was an APU bleed switch. Maybe not. Got the gens on, so I guess that's it. Ah, it's been so long. Literally, the last time I flew this thing religiously was in my days of P3D, which was a long time ago. Alright, did that tug ever show up? Alright, here it comes. That's this here, transponder. We don't want the TCAS on yet. Seatbelt signs on. No cabin chime yet. No functionality there yet. So, just playing around. Let's release the parking brake. Alright, he's backing us up. Now I should be able to do 1 and 4. Now with an aircraft this big, I'm not going to try to pretend that I can do this. Whoa, yeah, no. Oh, mama. Oh, I don't know, guys. I may have screwed the pooch on that one. Ooh. Look at that wing. Watch the wing. Watch the wing. Watch the wing. Oh! I think we'll let's just stop it here. Yeah, I'm good here. Oh my gosh, horrible backup job. Horrible backup job. Okay, well, live and learn, right? Looks like we got 2 engines on idle. Alright, so let's see here, we'll come up top. Start 2 and 3. That's ridiculous. Oh yeah, so that should have started immediately turning to the right. Okay, good times. Let's see here. Runway turn-off lights, taxi lights on. Yeah, see, it's got bleed switches. It's warning me that bleed switches are off. I'm missing something. Let's cross-feed. Engine bleeds. There we go. Groovy. Auto brakes max. APU running. We can go up top. Stop the APU. All right. I think we're ready for taxi. Assuming I didn't miss anything. Again, this is not a tutorial. All right, so taxi time. First thing we'll do is just go to flaps 1 there. Parking brake is released. Flaps are down. It looks so cool. Let's find our way to runway 25 right. With the beastie. Alright, so we are lined up on 25 right. LNAV and VNAV are on. We just need to hit command to engage the autopilot once we're airborne. So I think we are set and ready to go. I'm sure there's things that I'm missing, but that'll be for later discovery if all goes well. Here we go. There's Toga. That fog got thick. There's V1. There's rotate. Positive rate indicating. Gear up. Flaps up. Autopilot engaged. Start setting us up to a higher cruise. I do love that it has this enabled. That arc represents the approximate position at which you should reach your altitude. And we're going to take it all the way up to 34,000 feet. I feel like we were required to get the flaps up a whole lot faster than I thought, but I mean, I don't know. Climbing like a bat out of hell. 5,600 feet, 5,500 feet per minute. So from here, we're going to go ahead and be climbing out to 18,000 feet. 18,000 feet, we'll switch our altimeter back to standard. Let's go ahead and come up here and we're gonna turn. Oh, I flipped a switch. Okay, I was like, I don't recall turning those off. I did. Just didn't get these guys though. Runway turn off lights, taxi light. I was like, when did I turn the landing lights off? Alright, so from here, it's just continue climb up to 18,000 feet. I'll tap this button, switches back over to standard altimeter, and then we'll wait. It's going to be a few hours until we're ready to start our descent into Honolulu. So far, I'm really enjoying this. So far, this aircraft has regained my attention. Everything's been very smooth with it. Everything has been non-eventful with it. A couple bugs with the FMC, but I'm not worried about that. That's baby development, right? You know, I mean, as things progress, things get better and better. So, you know, that's nothing. You know, there's always work a way around that. You know, that's just the Simbrief integration had an issue. You know, that's, well, it is what it is. It means we do it the old-fashioned way, you know, as we normally would. So, no worries there, but the aircraft's flying great. The autopilot seems to be working very nicely. We're not doing any weird up and down. I mean, the last time I flew this thing, during the climb, it would pitch 20-30 degrees nose up until it was approaching stall, pitch back down, regain speed, and just kept doing that over and over and over. The autopilot was sketchy at best as far as navigation. So, and still early in the flight, we're going to see how everything turns out. But so far, I'm enjoying this. And we may have a new aircraft, you know, joining the channel's fleet here. So we'll see what happens. But we're just about to approach our standard altimeter. So our transition altitude, and there it is. Give that a tap. We're back in standard. Make sure that took place on both sides. It did. So from here, it's just a cruise up or a climb up to our cruise altitude, and we're gonna go ahead and extend the range out. We have a ways to go now, and I will catch you guys when we start thinking about descending. So I'll be back after a while. Hello everybody and welcome back. We are getting ready to start our descent here. We got about 20 miles to go, but so far it's been a very nice flight. I've had no problems, haven't had any problems with the aircraft. You know, so far everything's been absolutely fantastic. I'm really actually enjoying it, and the only frustration I have is that I don't know this plane. So I mean, it's going to be exciting to jump back into it. I'm actually thinking about busting out the old prepared and using the PMDG 747 just to sort of refamiliarize myself with the cockpit, as everything's obviously functional with that version. But for a $200 aircraft, it better be. The progress page has been really helpful. I'm really enjoying this. You can see it's got your next waypoint, and then from the waypoint to it, and then it has our direct distance. And it's important to remember that this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is, yeah, direct to. This is if we were to just turn our nose and point it at Honolulu, we're 111 miles away. So descent at 34,000 feet, given our speed of currently about 300 knots. Now, obviously, we're going to have that 240 knot, 250 knot restriction once we get down below 10,000 feet. So some of that's going to come into play. So I'm waiting till, well, actually about 105 nautical miles, and we're going to start our descent. So I'm going to start taking our altimeter here, and we're setting it all the way down to the bottom. Elevation of the runway we're going for is 13 feet. So we'll set it for 100 here, and now we just have to remember how to do this. And there it goes. VNAV, V-speed. Descent has begun. And let's start pulling this back here. And the other thing I'm going to do, just sort of get ahead of the game here, I'm not sure how well this will work, but I'm going to, oh yeah, see, it was starting to pitch down. I'm going to start setting this down to about the 250 knot mark, hoping she'll continue to descend at that speed and just slowly start slowing us down. Yep, everything's looking good. We are descending. The aircraft's slowing down, and we're turning towards let's see here, is that our last fix? Not quite, but we're getting close. So from here, guys, I'll be grabbing the METAR information for Honolulu. But we'll just be continuing our descent down. Once we get below 18,000 feet, we'll set our barometric pressure, and I'll come back to you guys. Alright guys, so we're coming up on 18,000 feet here. I'm starting to wing this a little bit here. We're going to start with flaps 5. No, she's got to be slowing down way sooner than some of the other aircraft. Now we're under the speed restriction. That's cool that it honored that. So we'll just slow this down to 240-ish. And here's our top of descent mark, or bottom of descent. 18,000 feet, we are set. So let's go back to barometric pressure, and we're looking for 3005. So we're currently sitting at in Honolulu. .1018. Let me zoom in here. That's kind of hard to see. There we go. Oh, I always went back to inches. Interesting. Okay. Alright, I'm doing this just because I don't want to fall behind here with an aircraft I don't know, so I'm going to go ahead and turn my landing lights on now. Alright, all lights are set. And at this point, let's come down to our performance page. I keep looking for everything in the wrong spot. Initial reference. There we go. Let's just do this. There we go. Is the performance page I want? That's not the one I wanted, is it? I always forget this. Come on. VNav. Next page, next page. Descent. Oh, no, we already walked through that. Okay. All right, well. And then check our rad nav. Yep, ILS is set. Okay, I guess we're just going to do our thing here. Alright, I'm going to come off vertical speed. At least I'm trying to come off vertical speed. No, don't do that. Alright, well, and then at this point, I'll just set you back to 1250 for a moment until I can figure out what I want to do here. Oh, VNav. God, I'm retarded. I'm a retard. Alright, so let's bring our altimeter up here because we're descending way too fast now. So we'll set this at 6,000 for now. Let me check some approach charts. We should be at 3,000 by YepGoo. I don't even see that, do you guys? USR here, we're in Pearly. Where's Pearly? Okay, so I see Pearly. We should be at 15,000. R196. Gotta look at the approach. Helps if I'm looking at the right thing. Or at the star, excuse me. And we're looking at the Maggie 3. Let's bring this up here. There we are. I thought we already passed it. So yeah, we're getting ready to turn on the approach. Alright, so we can ditch that for now. And at this point, we're inside. What's our distance? Alright, speed reference coming down. You know, though, that doesn't make sense. Approach. That's what I wanted. Alright, so 2745. We need to select it. So there's flaps 3. Throw that in the box. There we go. Alright, we got our reference speeds there now. And then we're going to set our reference speeds. So we're looking for 134 knots today. Let's give that a click. And we'll set it for 134 plus 5 if memory serves. We're looking for 139 knots. We got flaps 5 already set, so that was, I told you guys, a little early. I think we can bump that up a little bit more. It's a little early, so we don't have to go quite that slow yet. And you did not stop descending. Hold. Otherwise, we're going to be at our altitude way too soon. Okay. So this is probably the most frustrating part about new aircraft. Is just, you know, you start second guessing everything you're doing, and you get discombobulated. And I'm really trying not to do this with a checklist. I know that sounds stupid, but it's just, I am what I am. Half the fun for me is getting into my own flow and getting comfortable maneuvering around. And when I'm using all the different charts and things like that in the beginning, believe it or not, it actually sort of messes me up even more, especially when I'm trying to record. But I will say that I'm already thoroughly enjoying this. I'm going to start setting some of this up. We're going to be using auto brake 3. It should be plenty. We're going to be coming all the way down to flaps 30 for the approach. Speed brakes are armed. Landing lights are down. We already did that. Not sure why it didn't stop here at the 6,000 feet. That's kind of odd. Go ahead and set that back down. We'll be setting it down to 0 here. Well, let's keep it at 100. Alright, so at this point, we're stable. We're going to hold tight until we come around the corner here. And once we get back on the approach right about here, we'll continue our descent once again, because we're already at 3,900 feet. And by Pearly, I think it was, we're supposed to be at 3,000. So we'll just sort of keep an eye on the distance. I mean, we know what the golden rule is, right? Golden rule is 3,000 feet by 10 miles. So as long as we can keep within those boundaries, we'll be fine. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. Alright, so we are coming around for our final turn. So now we're going to start making some of this magic happen. You can see we are below the glide slope, but it has been picked up. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the approach mode. Can't remember how to get it back into speed mode where it handles it itself. Well, let's just start setting our reference speeds, because we're about 15 miles out. So we're going to start slowing our way down. There's our 139 miles. We're going to get flaps 10. We got our references right here. Flaps 20. Hey, just in time. You can see the glide slope is being acquired. Localizers locked. Such a cool airplane. Big, gorgeous monster. Just worried there's something I'm missing. Everything looks good so far, but we can set our final heading. What was that? 051 degrees, I think. Oops, wrong button. Oh, glide slope was acquired. I suppose it's not really critical, but we'll turn it anyway. sure it was 051. Nope. Oh, 041. Alright, so let's see how we're doing here. Got the runway out there. What's our distance here? Next waypoint's 2.5 miles. I was looking for the localizer distance. I don't see that. Oh, there it is. 8.3. Alright, so we're going to go flaps 25. Gear coming down. Autopilot is doing great. Really impressed so far. Glide slope's locked, localizer's locked. It's crawling in now. Alright, coming up on 1,500 feet, we're going to go reference flaps. We're at a reference speed. I don't know why we're in rollout already. And flare. Unless those are just the next stages. That might just be the next stage. Seems kind of like a tiny runway for this big monster. I think I picked the wrong one. Yeah, this runway's only 9,000 feet. Don't miss, bro. $700 feet. Whoa, kicked the rudders. Bad time to kick the rudders. I just wanted to make sure everybody was awake in the cabin. Yeah, I mean, they can't be sleeping through the whole thing. All right. Here we go. Come on, Mama. Center up. Center up. Come on, Your Majesty. Let's do this. Okay, so we are down. I did feel like the roll wasn't quite near as long as it should have, so that's probably a flight model issue. But other than that, she was fun. I had a really great time flying it. The experience was still very nice. There was nothing frustrating about it. It wasn't a headache. Nothing went grossly wrong with it. If you guys have been avoiding the 747 for similar reasons that I have, I highly recommend it. You guys should definitely give this aircraft a shot. Salty and his team has done a great job with it, and I hope they continue to work on it, because this is a massive improvement from the last time I flew this aircraft. The last time I flew this aircraft, I shut it down shortly after takeoff. It just wasn't even enjoyable. So that definitely was not the experience this time. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below and your experiences with this aircraft. And hopefully you guys all enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next one.